Hello, beautiful people. Happy Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. This is the Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff YouTube channel that is now monetized and over 1,000 subscribers. Woo, legit. And this is the Doctor's Orders live stream. This is episode 73 in a row. And this is a live stream where we pull back the curtain so you guys can get to know the people behind this company, what's going on with this company, anything that we essentially want to discuss. It's just every week gives us an hour to sit down, hang out with our friends, and get to know everybody a little bit more. My name is Dancy Bearded. I am the co-host of this show, and the co-host to my side over here, what would that be? Is that, if they're looking at us, is that to my right for them?
I see. I don't know. I think it's you are to my left when I'm looking at the screen here. Yeah.
My brain can't handle the
stage right. I'm stage right.
Okay.
I'm your left.
Oh, well, this gentleman to the side of me here, he is the founder, the co-owner of Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff. He is the husband of the famous Jill. He is the parent to an amazing young man and dog. He is a multiple business owner, and above all, just a good, kind-hearted, caring person that really, really genuinely cares about his products and especially the people that are using them. If you guys could, please help me welcome Mr. Dr. Nick himself.
Oh, stop. You're too much. You're too much. Oh, man.
And very true. We cannot forget, and an actual national champion of beards.
You know, that part still blows me away. Every time you say it, I'm like, oh yeah. Like
I know. And there's so many cool things from that trip. Like the thumbnail for this live stream is from that trip. Like, dude, that was amazing and unexpected.
Well, talk about amazing and unexpected is the night you made that, Jill and I were literally like, I got to change the thumbnail for Doctor's Orders. I feel like we have a lot better photos to use now than just like me on the couch before our wedding.
Right.
And it literally, like, without even, I think when I was texting you about it? I think it was as I was texting you and you were texting me about it. I was like, hey, we need to change that thumbnail, and literally had not talked about it previously.
No. And I was excited, and I was sending it to you to show you like this new sick thumbnail.
That's hilarious. I showed Jill and she's like, you guys need to stop it. You're like literally like just like inside of each other's brains somehow.
And we did it again today on some other graphics.
It's not even fair.
It's like crazy.
If other people have to work together and they need to communicate in order to like tell each other what they're thinking, like that's just our workflow. I think just it exploits our unique advantage here and just gives us an unfair advantage.
It's the wildest thing because we talk a lot, but we don't talk a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. Like we talk often, but it's usually just to confirm that we're already thinking about the same thing.
Right, or something that's not related whatsoever. If we're talking, it's about the new juice or this or that. What you got?
Speaking of new juice,
this
one's pretty good. I gotta say, this is like the 4th or 5th time I've gotten the same one, which is surprising because I don't normally buy the multiples of the same thing, much less multiples of the same thing that come out of Ohio.
Oh,
okay. Well, maybe I need to pick a different juice. I'm kidding. Stop it. It's just, for Dan's sake there. I don't want to, but this stuff's pretty good. It's like this cold pressed stuff. Comes from Whole Foods, I think. It's pretty damn good. And
it's
if you're like, juice? But it's got all kinds of good stuff in it because like, if you're having one of those days, I kind of woke up with like an ear thing and like a throat thing.
Me too.
Which for me usually lasts for about 6 to 12 hours. Everyone else will get sick for a week. And I will just feel kind of not so great for about a half a day. And then I sleep a little longer the next day. And then I'm good.
Yeah. No, that's about the same for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to give a little appetizer here for our guy, Jacob, aka Jacked Up Leatherworks. Anything on the horizon there, Nick?
Yeah. So Jacob, I know you have to bounce. You can't stay. And that's actually good timing. Because we're going to talk about all of your stuff next week, the topic of next week, and not to completely let the cat out of the bag. But the topic of next week is new merch and new products and some other stuff, right? And I figure, how convenient would it be to maybe just reach over here on my desk and just grab a couple of things that we can talk about next week. They're not here right now. They're right there. They're not here. So notice they could be here, but they're not because they're over there.
So
Right.
something in the leather world,
Mm-hmm.
possibly in the future, revealed next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. Because Jacob, I think it deserves its own attention. We have, Dan was pointing out, we have all kinds of stuff today, and I think I want to kick it off next week. Talk about what we're doing, show off what exactly it is that we're doing, along with one other thing, and I think it goes together perfectly.
Agreed.
So it's going to be next week. So don't worry if you got to take off. You're not gonna miss any fun in that regard today.
Yes,
but you will,
absolutely.
however, miss out on all the rest of the fun.
Right. And there's going to be lots of fun to be had. And we do want to say welcome, everybody. If you guys could, 2 things for me real quick. If you could hit the thumbs up on this stream, just to show YouTube that some positive stuff is going on. And then number 2, drop a comment with what you're up to right now. Where are you coming to us from? Your lunch break? Are you off today? Do you not work? Are you in a different part of the world? So it's a time zone that doesn't even like make sense to us right now. Just drop a comment with what you guys are up to at this time. And man, we're gonna have some fun. Jake says loving the cold brew. We got a full section where we're gonna give some feedback on the new scents and hear what you guys think out there. And so if you guys have some thoughts, hold on. I promise we will get to those. And we got people checking in from the office at work. We got Chris B. We've got Dan B, who's on the verge of a lunch break, who he just got awarded a big award at work for a trip to Puerto Rico because of his success at work. So that's really cool.
Congrats, Dan. Well earned, my friend.
Got sent home because of the weather. Yeah, so our kids are home today. It's a snow day. It was ice storm came through last night.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And so, yep, they've had
a whole house full of little monsters upstairs.
Well, and a 4-day weekend. They didn't have school yesterday either. So it's if you're like, dang, how did Dan do so much freaking crazy work yesterday? Yeah, my kids were home. So I was like, I need to escape. No, just kidding. But they did. So yeah, I'm ready for them to go back to school to burn some of that energy.
Yeah. Whenever they get pent up in the snow, it is a problem.
It is. It really, especially an ice storm, because it's not even like, oh, go outside and play. It's like, oh, go outside and fall and get really hurt.
Yeah, because then you're a lot less work. Yeah.
Right.
Idle hands are the devil's playground with those kids. I'll tell you what.
My goodness. Kyle says, night shift almost done, 5 a.m. in Australia. Wow. That's really cool.
Dude, right on. Look
night
at that.
Shift. JP says, off today, hanging out the house. Nice. And home office, just babysitting my emails at the moment.
Sweet. Like you should. This is the way.
Right. Dennis is on lunch break. Love it. Donating plasma. Awesome. Listening while working. Donald's at working at lunch. Awesome. And Brandon's getting ready to leave for work. Heck yeah, dude. Day off. All right. What else we got in here? I usually work first shift. Okay, cool. I'm glad you're able to make it.
Hey, look at that.
Stream before I get back to sleep. Nice. I'm hanging here at work, just waiting for work to arrive. Until then, chill time. Interesting. It's so interesting when you think about like the different like works that are out there and how different everybody is with what they do.
I was just going to say that too, and the different schedules that are out there. And we were talking about that when we were first making this stream, because, the timing was tough with everything else you have going on, with everything else I have going on. It was tough to decide kind of when's the best. And obviously your first thought for this kind of a stream is something at nighttime, but a lot of people are working at night. A lot of people have family stuff that they're doing at night and can't do anything during the week, at 8 o'clock at night. Right.
Yeah.
So it's actually kind of cool because I didn't even think about all the people that just work different hours that are not your typical hours, or people in different time zones where this actually kind of works.
I love it. And we're proving it with you guys showing up every week. Great numbers. We're about 50 people right now. Last week at the peak of the stream, we were over 100. Like, unbelievable when you think about that. And we do take pride in the replay value of this stream. The views grow and grow and grow. And so that's really cool to see as well.
They are. Oh God, my mom has been stuck down there in Tennessee. She lives in like a really hilly area, like right near Knoxville, and they don't really have the infrastructure of people there that with like plow trucks and stuff to plow anything outside the city proper. So her hills to get up to her place are still just impassable with ice. There's like one guy in the neighborhood who's kind of like a construction handyman, kind of guy.
Yeah.
And everyone employs him in the area to do stuff around their properties. And it basically everyone has like a pool of money that's just kind of like funding him to single-handedly clear trees and scrape ice with a bobcat. But yeah, they're still stuck.
That's like some old school, like community living in a kind of cool way.
It is in a super cool way. That guy
Yeah.
is awesome. First of all, he's a really, really good dude. We've sent him down some products in the past, and
Nice.
he's got a decent beard going. And but
Nice.
yeah, he's killing himself out there trying to get all these people cleared out. I mean, he like slid down a hill the other day in a bobcat and like had to get extracted himself. Like
Oh my God.
it's been insanity out there. They're just not prepared for this. I
Right.
guess the last time this happened was when they first moved down there in like 2000. Oh, I don't know, 2014, 15 or something like that,
Okay.
I guess. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's wild. And there's a bunch of Screw Loose said he fell on ice. He said it was hard. And then JP said he slipped and fell on ice and taking the trash out. Sam, we told it on our Beard Advice Live. She slipped and fell for the first time in her adult life on some ice a couple weeks ago, too.
Dude, it's brutal. Our driveway right now is treacherous.
And that's ours. Like with all the freezing rain and stuff, I don't care if you were out there shoveling every minute of every day. There's nothing you can do about it.
Once the water goes through a layer of snow at nighttime,
Yep.
unless you're out there chipping away at
Right.
it because you're really determined to get it all gone, and then you're chipping up your driveway.
Yep.
And I mean, you always think you're doing a great job until springtime, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I just did $4,000 worth of driveway damage. Sweet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So
Sure,
stay safe out there, you guys, and hopefully everybody's staying warm and everything. Yeah, JP says that's what got me, our treacherous driveway. Yep, definitely. We have a video of a friend of ours he wasn't actually in our driveway, but our security camera caught it straight up on video, went to step on the curb, but like missed it. Foot, whoop, other foot, whoop, and just bam. And so it's so much better that we have it on video. And he laughs about it. He was fine. And
dude, you know what it is? Like after the age of, I don't know, I'm going to say 30, because I swear falling flat on your back after the age of 30 starts to suck.
Yeah.
Over 30, and every 5 years after that, it just gets that much worse. Like it takes from the age of like 2 to the age of 30 to make falling on your ass hurt. And then like literally that amount of pain gets doubled every 5 years, not every 30.
Gosh. I have, oh man, knock on wood. I haven't had a good one in a while, but I've had some doing the driveway, and mine was, but Sam fell forward. So she was walking and it was black ice, like straight up looked like a puddle because it wasn't even that icy that day. And she fell forward and went knee down, and then her cup saved her Stanley. And she went down, and I panicked. I thought it was really bad because all I heard was the hit, but it was her cup hitting the concrete, and it went down. And so she has a good little bone bruise on her knee, but is okay other than that. But I was freaking terrified. And she just laid, like she went out flat and went like ice
and just took a little break.
Yeah, she was just like, I'm down here. I'm just gonna
take a minute.
Yep. And then got herself. But for me, I'm a little bit ahead.
You hear clink and then laying flat.
Yes. It was scary, man. Really scary, but she's okay. She's recovering. We're doing better. Just got our sensors for round 2 in on the other arm now. So these have been amazing.
Oh, you got both arms now.
So
these, or do you alternate?
Alternate. So these go every 2 weeks. And so they want you to alternate arms when you use them.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how are those things with like sweat and in the shower and getting wet? Like they adhere really well. They don't move. They don't get water under them.
Unbelievable. So it's got this like skin thing on it, but it also has like the sensor has like plastic over it on the inside. Yeah, not a problem at all.
You got to shave on your arm where you put that, right?
Just a trimmer. Just down a trimmer. So essentially it has a needle that goes in and it puts some filament inside the puncture, and then it stays on top of it and keeps it down, and that little filament just stays in your arm. So I don't even ever know it's on. And we work out every day.
So the needle doesn't stay in.
No, I thought it did until we took off the last one, and it's just like a little filament.
Interesting. So when you put it on,
the
needle goes in with the filament in it, and then something probably peels off that has the needle stuck to it.
Yeah. Yep, you have like it's like a stamp, and you like puncture it down, you pull it back, and it just leaves it in.
Freaking cool.
It is really, really cool. And we're really like, Sam has completely changed her breakfast and all this stuff. She would always be grumpy she'd be grumpy in the morning, but it was because she would eat like she would have caffeine, which she's finding out her body reacts really poorly to with her coffee, and then she'd have a muffin. And it was like essentially she would go real high
index
and then
spike.
slowly come down. And if you guys have spikes, a good indicator of health is you go up and then you come right back down. Your body's able to process it. So she switched to protein in the morning in the form of a protein shake and has literally changed her life. Like she's a different human the first 4 hours of the day now.
Isn't that crazy what blood sugar does to like just your brain function?
Unbelievable. And then to be able to attach the numbers, like, baby, doing okay right now? And then she'll be like, I don't know. I'm like, check your numbers. I'm like, oh, yeah, you did. And then this will actually lead into our next topic, like literally perfectly. It's interesting to see how your body processes food, because some things super sugary ones, you'll take it and you'll spike right away. Other food you don't process for an hour or later. And then it's like, why is my body feeling like this? It's so interesting.
That is freaking cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Now, speaking of processing food, many of you were here for the birth of this experience. Most of you know I'm pretty much a carnivore. I eat meat, mainly only meat. If I have a meal, it's going to have meat as the main course. And sometimes I don't even have sides. I just love meat. And so somehow we brought up that I'd never been to a Brazilian steakhouse, and Nick was kind with Jill and essentially like, you know what, we're going to change that. And so Nick and Jill,
we did. We said it right here on the stream. I'm like, everyone here is my witness.
Yep.
I'm going to fix this problem.
And he did.
Yep, we did.
And so they got us a gift card. So amazing, so thankful. And so we had our mother-in-law watch the kids, and we got to go to, how do you know how to say this one?
Fogo de Chao.
Okay, that one. And so this one's in Troy, Michigan. Again, true story, off Big Beaver exit 69 on our highway. Like, genuine true story.
I got Dan a gift card, and there he was at Big Beaver exit 69.
And I got my decent clothes on. Not I didn't wear like a suit or anything, but I wore a nice sweater and some real pants. And Sam was like, no, you can't wear boots. I'm like, all right. And oh my God, best address ever. Yeah, it's real. And so we walk in, super kind there. The waiter sits down and they've got menus and all this stuff. And we did our research, but still I've never been to a thing like, literally nothing like this. It's so unique. And so he's like, are you guys wanting the experience? I'm like, heck yeah, I want the experience. That's the best way ever to put that. Like, that was his exact words. And I'm like, heck, because I think you can order like individual foods and stuff like normal. But he was like, do you want the experience? I'm like, this is great. Yes, I do. And so he was like, okay. And then walked away. And I'm like, I don't know the rules. I don't know what we're supposed to do, what we're not supposed to do. And so he took our drink order, brought the drinks back. And I was like, man, I'm just going to, because I'm like, I stopped caring about like trying to like fit in and do what's like, you know, like the
like you know what's going on.
Exactly. I stopped.
I'm new to this. What am I doing?
And so I did. I told him, I was like, I gotta be honest, man. I don't know. Jose, shout out to Jose. I was like, I don't know how this works. And he was like, it's at your pace. And I'm like, still don't know how this works. Can you help me out? I was like, because they had
like, you're doing a bad job of the intro.
Right. They had like the salad bar and everything, but it was like vast, and it had everything you could imagine and stuff I didn't even know existed in this world. And so I'm like, do we just go get this? And he's like, yeah. And no meat was out yet. And I'm like, how does the meat work? He's like, oh, they'll be coming around. You have the green and the red, and just leave it on green if you want them to keep bringing meat. So I'm like, okay. So I go to the salad bar. Sam goes to town because she wanted to try a bunch of new stuff. I didn't. And so I got pineapple and bacon. They had some like brown sugar and something bacon. Legitimately, you guys can ask Sam, the greatest bacon I've ever had in my entire life. It was unbelievable. It was an experience. It really was. And flavorful. It was just so delicious. So we get that. And then they start coming around with the meat. And the first thing is spicy sausage. I love sausage. So I was like, heck yes. And I get it. And now I'm figuring out, oh man, are you ready for the embarrassing thing of the whole time?
You're like, do I take it off the skewer?
No, okay, so
off the skewer for me.
They have the little tongs, right? Legitimately, I thought they were ice cube tongs. And so, because it's fancy. I thought maybe they were gonna like tong the ice cubes in for the water, because it had like a fancy water thing on the table too. And I was like, oh, and he was like pointing to those, and I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't know sign language, man. And he was like, your tongs, you grab the meat. And I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. And so I grabbed the meat and he puts it on there. One thing I will say I'm surprised about, it had the nice like white linen tablecloth. Their meat skewers were messy. They got like meat juice all over the table. And
it gets everywhere. It looks like you slaughter an animal by the time you're done eating at that place.
It was everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And in my mind,
can you imagine what their sin toss bill looks like?
I thought about every day, just coming back and forth with the trucks. And
like the first time that guy goes in there, he's like, all right, what do you guys do here?
right. Is this a butcher house? And so, in my mind, I'm like, this is super fancy, but you're getting dirty. Like, I couldn't handle it.
You're a restaurant, but I pick up lots of bloody linens here.
Right.
I'm a little concerned.
Oh, I love that. So the sausage was amazing. And then they came around and I messed up and I had my favorite steak second, like the best thing. And it's am I saying it right? The pecan, or go ahead and say it. Picana. Okay. Yeah. So it's the picana, which has that thick layer of fat right around the outside. And then it was so unbelievably flavorful. Like the flavor out, obviously all of the steaks were tender and warm and amazing, but the flavor on the picana, is that right?
Picana. Yeah.
The flavor on the picana was garlicky and salty and just, oh my goodness gracious. It was unbelievable. And then
that with the salt they put on the outside of that, like while they cook it, and it just like emulsifies the fat through the meat. Like I don't eat much red meat, but I'll eat that.
Oh my gosh. And then we had bacon wrapped chicken, bacon wrapped steak, a bunch of different kinds of steaks. I had never had aged steak before, and they had some aged like Wagyu, and it was like, it was unbelievable. And we loved it. We got creme brulee. Sam had never had creme brulee before, which is gluten-free, for dessert, and that was delicious. And
because I know Dan's spending habits and I know what he views as okay versus not okay. I made sure to put the gift card into the not acceptable for a single meal range, but not so much that he could save anything later. So I had to push him out of his comfort zone and then make him spend the rest of it on dessert and mocktails because there was no way he was going to save it.
Yeah, and there's no way I would have gotten dessert either. So it was so good. It had fresh fruit on top of it. So the fruit juice was all in it. It was delicious.
Yeah.
And then we leave, and my body, and I eat a lot of meat. I mean, I eat a lot of meat. My body didn't know how to process the meat.
And you got in your car, and all of a sudden Europe's Final Countdown was playing as soon as you sat down. Like you heard it, and you were like, I had no idea why.
It was crazy. Like I didn't feel sick, but I felt different. And like, there was just this, like, I could feel like I could be in tune with my body. Like there was this massive meat, and it was like, I don't know how to get this processed quick enough. And it was
just meat drunk, man.
Yeah. It was unbelievable. And just, I've never had an experience like that. It was just crazy. And I forgot that my green was staying green. And so they just kept coming to the table, and I just felt like I couldn't say no. So like, hey, do you want this? And I'm like, yes, I do. Do you want, yeah, pork? Yeah, please. You want this? And so I just kept going. And then Sam turned hers over. I was like, I legitimately was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize I had it green this whole time. I thought that they just checked with everybody, and I never said no. I never once said no. And I just kept going and going.
They take that as a challenge, by the way. I've known someone who's worked at one of those places, and they're like, God forbid you don't turn down 5 people in a row. They'll go back in the kitchen and be like, hey, that guy at table 5 is not saying no to anything. Bring him that.
Yeah. They even said that when the guy came around, he's like, do you want some? I said, yeah. He goes, you say that for now. And I was like, dang, he was like challenging me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was delicious. And just, oh man, the amount of like diversity of the food there was just so cool. So dang cool. Sam tried a bunch of things for the first time. Like she had never had a blood orange. She loved blood orange. She had never had like grapefruit. She had grapefruit. I know some of these are common, but we just had never had them before. And we tried, oh man, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Whereas one says no, is not a place. Yeah. I didn't feel like I could say no because it sounded all good. But
yeah. I mean,
if I were to do it again, I would want to tell myself to like stop a little bit earlier, but I told Sam afterwards,
in between, like hit it red for a little bit and then go back green.
Yeah. But I don't know. I told Sam, I don't know if I can. Like, I don't know if I could say no to that meat. That that struggles for me. And Jill, Sam was obsessed with the blood orange, obsessed with it, loved it.
Blood orange is awesome, dude. There's a place we go for brunch that does blood orange mimosas. Oh man,
so good,
so damn good.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much a pro now, and loved it, and it was everything I thought it was, and even more. And it was just,
now I know where birthday dinners are going to happen potentially in the future. Like Sam's like, where do you want to go? And you're like, Fogo de Chao.
Yep. And it was beautiful in there too. Super well. And the Lions had a playoff game that day, which they won. Go Lions. So there were like a few celebrities that were in there. Like a former Lions player was in there and some other like kind of like cool celebrities. So that was awesome.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. It was really, really great. Everyone's like, no, it's just a pause to make some more room on your plate. And then the guy came and I was like, dude, so I went to the salad bar. I came back. I had my little leftover like bits of pineapple, like the outside part. And I'm like, do I get a new plate? Or he was like, it's your pace, whatever you want. I'm like, I don't know what the right answer is. And I was like, just bring the meat. And then he came back later. He was like, because I had so many different like little like things of fat or whatever, bone and these different things. He was like, do you want a fresh plate? I was like, yes, I do. And so he brought me a fresh plate, which I don't even know if that's normal, but I felt accomplished.
That's fantastic. Yeah, you had to get a refresh on the plate at Boys Out because there wasn't enough room for new food after your leavings of old food.
Exactly.
I'd say you did it right. That's a win.
Thank you. And Ruben, he said, I thought we were talking about winter tips. we will. So this is exactly, guys, one. Oh, he's hungry. That's so funny. That is brutal. I ate lunch already, so I'm good over here. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, Ruben.
Yeah. And the servers were pretty cool. They had unique personalities, and the people in there were pretty unique and interesting. I don't normally eat at places like that, and so to hear like the peripheral conversations around me, it was interesting. It was good people watching.
Anything stand out?
Yes, there was a guy and his son right next to us, and Sam believes he was hitting on the waiter, who was another guy. And they were bonding over this small town in Germany. And so somehow the dad was asking the waiter, they connected because he remembered him from like a year ago. The dad remembered the waiter and he was like, Chris? And Chris was like, that's crazy that you remember my name from like a year ago. And he was like, yeah. And then he's like, what have you been up to? And he's like, well, I just studied abroad in Germany. And the dad was like, oh, Germany, I know that well. What city? And they named some city none of us had ever heard of. And he was like, I know that city well. And the kid was like, huh? He was like, do you work for Siemens? And the guy was like, yes. I guess this city is like half the population is university students and half the populations is like the headquarters of Siemens. And so
interesting.
The kid was there for studying abroad while the guy had been there for work. And so they were just going back and forth this whole time about like German culture and this and that. It was very interesting. Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. It looks like they got a bunch of presence and their main headquarters is in Munich, Germany. I had no idea that Siemens was headquartered in Munich.
Yeah, it was, and so whatever it was, must have been like a branch or something. Because I know Munich, but the
they have 40 locations in Germany.
There you go.
I had no idea.
There you go. So yeah, just conversations like that, and just the way people would kind of like interact with their kids was very interesting. It was fun. It was fun to get to know a new side of life, and loved it. Absolutely loved it. Okay.
Ken, very important to spell it right when you tell people where you work. Yes.
Right. Yes.
That's one of the ones that you say like SIE, like as you say it, like before or after you say the name Siemens. SIE.
Yes. Yeah. And you make sure you don't lose the S. Like you got to have that on there for sure. Yep.
Yeah. Hard S.
All right. Next up, guys, I would love to give you guys a chance to give any and all initial thoughts or feedback on the 2 new scents that are launched by Dr. Nick's. If you guys have tried them, what is your thought on the smell? Do you love it? Is it not for you? Did it surprise you? Kind of give any feedback that you have, and then to kind of show you guys. Keep in mind, Dr. Nick's does have an Instagram account. So the first one was the Lemongrass Ginger. Okay. And this is that Thai inspired earthy ginger, fresh lemongrass. And then the second one is the cold brew coffee, which is not bitter, not burnt, but it's a fresh coffee with a little bit of like that nitro cream type style to it. So if you have it and you've tried it, what are your guys' thoughts on these ones? And Nick, how have these two worked into your rotation recently?
So lemongrass ginger, I keep going. I go through it. Like when I have it, I basically use it until it's gone.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, it's become like my new favorite, which is really interesting actually. I really liked it in the beginning, and then I gave it a break, and then it was weird because when I went back to using it, I just like fell in love with it. And now I want it in everything. Like now I want it in a body wash, like I want it in all the washes, like I want it as oh yeah, like I'm all over this one. I love it to death. It's like what I really, really like about the lemongrass ginger is it is like probably the most true to the botanical source scent that we have.
I can see that.
Yeah, like if you're someone who likes that, who likes like the earthiness of scents and likes like the chlorophyll backed kind of notes of a green botanical, you get that with the lemongrass, and the ginger cuts it and makes it really, really smooth and gives it, I mean, it's like I'm saying, oddly enough, yeah, sitting here drinking this juice here that's, you know, filled with ginger root and turmeric and lemon and all this other stuff. So clearly, yeah, look at that. I mean, lemongrass ginger smells like an organic juice cafe. Dude, it does. Like it smells like someone's pressing juices and there's wheatgrass getting cut in the background and there's, you know, cold water and juice around the place. You know, that's what it smells like.
That's so cool. And Kevin said his wife stole the coffee one, so he used lemongrass last night.
Oh, that's awesome. I imagine that cold brew coffee is one hell of a skin oil too, because of the natural caffeine that's in the coffee essential oil. So I mean, it's really good for your skin, and that's again something we're going to start doing a better job of. But you look at like the skin benefits or like the aromatherapy benefits of ginger, right? I mean, it is a great mood enhancer. Like people used ginger for depression inside of aromatherapy diffusers for forever. So, I mean, lemon's a really good, lemongrass and ginger are both like super uplifting from like a sense of smell, brain connection perspective. But then on the other side, you look at like coffee, the cold brew. I mean, it has natural, you know, cold brew the coffee essential oil. So you're going to get a little bit of that natural caffeine that comes from the coffee. And it's just invigorating in general because if you drink coffee, your brain's used to waking up when you drink it. So when you smell it, it has a similar effect.
Interesting. And Danny, I just checked to verify, but I do believe the butter is available. So if you check it out online right now, I believe there is stock. I was able to add it to my cart and everything. So you should be good. Again, guys, another good reason to follow Instagram is Dr. Nick's does a really good job of updating on like back in stock alerts and those kind of things. Unless Nick, you see something different, I believe it is available right now.
It is available, but move quickly. I just verified stock on the back end of the website here, and it is dwindling. And not to fret if you missed this round, Jill is actively working on a new batch now. And if it goes out of stock here today, I would imagine it would be back in stock by Friday. So you could go into the weekend, you know, having that ordered. And if it does go out today, we will definitely post on Instagram and let you guys know when it's back in stock.
Perfect. And Ken says he tried the cold brew last night. He said smell out of the bottle is good and faded pretty quickly, which was a plus for him.
Yeah. And you know, and for a coffee scent, that's what I'd want, right? I actually would not enjoy a coffee scent come 3:00 in the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
I like the coffee scent in the morning. But if I was reapplying an oil at night, I probably wouldn't go to cold brew. I wouldn't do cold brewed coffee. And if I was applying something in the morning, I don't think I'd want it to last past lunchtime with a coffee scent, you know?
Right.
So I actually really enjoy that fact as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then Jake says the lemongrass is good. Makes me think of summer. Cold brew is great, different than any other coffee scent he's tried. And I've heard that a lot, even from you. You kind of brought that up.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's very different. Like that's because most things out there are not scented with real coffee, right? It's a coffee fragrance oil, and that coffee fragrance oil doesn't smell like coffee. You know, it smells coffee-esque. It's coffee adjacent, right?
Right.
But it's not. It doesn't smell like a cup of coffee. Whereas this smells like you just took a sip out of a cup of cold brew coffee and you have cold brew foam on your mustache. That's what this smells like.
Absolutely. And Tyler, good question here. He says, because you mentioned aromatherapy with the essential oils, he said, is there benefits from using fragrance oils? Now, I know some use it for that. I know some claim it. I don't know enough to speak on it, if there are any real benefits to that or not. I don't know if this is something that you know, Nick.
It depends what the fragrance is derived from. Yeah. So like if sometimes fragrance oils do use natural plant oils, to fragrance them. And then they use other stuff like polymers to enhance that smell and to make it stickier. And to make it longer lasting so they don't oxidize. Most of them are polymers, because it'll just encapsulate whatever smell is there and it lets it not oxidize. So you can smell it, but the air doesn't get to it to destroy it.
Interesting.
Oxygen's one hell of a, it's essentially like it degrades things quickly. Oxidation is, powerful reaction. So that's why essential oils die so quick, because they're just naturally exposed to all the air. But I would say that there's probably fragrance oils out there that are made for aromatherapy benefits, right? They probably use things that are aromatherapy beneficial. But then I'm sure there's a whole bunch that are the exact opposite, right? That they smell good, but there's zero actual, benefit from an aromatherapy standpoint. But I'm sure there's someone out there better qualified to answer that than me, since I don't use fragrance oils. I don't really shop in that world. But
great question. And Jumbo says, agree with the others. Lemongrass oil is awesome.
Oh, that's great, dude.
And Jill said she is working on a latte-like scent for those who are wanting something coffee-based but more complex notes.
A little creamier, a little sweeter.
Yeah, coffee house type vibes, maybe with some hazelnut, maybe some vanilla in there.
There you go. I could see that.
Awesome.
I could see that chai that, was kind of kicking around as an idea for a little bit there that we didn't quite get our finger on liking all the way. I mean, I think that like with a coffee, talk about doing like a chai latte or a vanilla latte or a chocolate latte, kind of a thing, like a mocha latte. I could see something in that realm being
for
really cool.
Cacao in there, something like that. Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. Well, if you guys have any other feedback of the new scents, please drop those at any time. But we can switch to our final topic, main topic of today, winter beard tips and tricks. And I would love to encourage you guys out there to drop any thoughts, right? We know the kind of basic ones: drink more water, oftentimes use more products, maybe rely on beard butter a little bit more when it's a drier kind of cold winter. We've got all those. I want to know stuff that you guys are doing where you adjust in this winter. Like, what about your coat? Have you found a trick to not make your coat make your beard look terrible or messy it up in the way it feels? What about with the ice and the snow when you're outside? Any like random things where you're like, I do notice that I do this and it works for me. Nick, do you have any initial thoughts on anything that has kind of stood out to you with your beard in the winter?
So, I mean, there's some things I think that help. One, I find myself putting my beard in a bun a lot more in the winter.
Okay.
Like I tie it up more which is weird, right? Because you'd think you'd tie it up more in the summer when it's hot.
Yeah.
But I'm wearing less clothes in the summer, right? I'm very rarely am I worried about a zipper or am I worried about like, icicle, you know what I mean? Like it's just, so I think I put my beard up a lot more. That's one thing. For me personally, though, I think my biggest thing that I do different in the winter than I do in the summer is I almost religiously mix a little bit of butter with my oil. Like I'm almost always putting butter in my beard in the morning, just because, like you guys know, I'm dry, right? Like I get dry skin, I get dry hair, and that leads to like a couple of things. So one, I find that I can't heat treat my beard as much in the winter as I do in the summer. Like if I'm using an Aberlite, I got to be really careful. One, what state my beard is in before I heat brush it.
Okay.
If I wait too long after a shower to heat brush in the winter, it's just so damn dry in our house that I notice my beard gets, no matter what I do to it, it gets really, really dry. And it looks dry. Like it gets like that sparse kind of stick look to it where it's stick. You know what I mean? It just doesn't look
staticky almost.
Yeah, almost a little staticky. So I gotta, even with the ion generator in that thing, it just doesn't knock down the static that I get. And then you're wearing long sleeves and flannels and stuff like that, and that just makes it worse. And so I think that's the biggest thing is like I got to really watch. Like I can't let my beard get all the way dry before I put oil in it, or else my skin gets super duper dry and angry.
Yes.
And when I'm doing that, I have to use a little bit of butter with it. And then I can't wait too long before I actually heat treat it, because then it gets dry and turns into a big just a big mess. So,
Yeah.
and it's like you don't have like a second chance. I've noticed in the winter, right? It's like in the summer, your beard's kind of forgiving. Where like if you don't get ready all the way, someone calls you in the middle of getting ready, and you got to go down and talk on the phone, then come back up. You can kind of pick up where you left off in the summer because the humidity's in the air. It's fine.
Yep.
But man, in these northern states, like if you get distracted halfway through and come back, your oil is not going to penetrate right. Your skin's already going to be dry and locked out of moisture. You almost have to like start over if you mess up a step when in the winter.
Truly, I had that yesterday. I'm getting ready. Sam's gone. Violet uses the restroom, needs my help like in the middle of my routine. And I'm like, okay, just this trip down the hall into the cold like living room and stuff is going to change this completely. And so, yeah, that dry air is brutal. And Kevin says, I think I'm being too conservative on the products in the winter. Probably should use more. Most people do up their use when they're in a dry winter. It just, your beard, your skin's going to respond to it really well. And another thing, most people don't drink as much water in the winter because your body is not telling you you're as thirsty. So unless you're someone that has like a routine and a regimen of drinking a set amount of water, if you're just kind of listening to your body, chances are you guys are drinking less water at a time when you need it even more because of that dry air. And so oftentimes it can do with the drinking of the water as well.
You know, the water is huge. Like, and that's one of those basic tips. Everyone's like, well, drink more water. It's like, it's hard to do when you're at elevation. Your body almost tells you to drink less water. And that's like the time you need more water to get oxygen through your muscles and your blood and everything else. And it's like, it's important.
Yeah. 2 pet peeves of mine with water, those wives' tales that I love busting. One is people will say, if you're thirsty or dehydrated, your body will tell you. Nope, that's just not true all the time. So no, that's not a good rule. And then number 2, pee until your pee is clear. If it's clear, then you're hydrated. Nope, that's not true either. You can be very dehydrated and have clear pee. You can also be very hydrated and take like a B complex vitamin and have very, very bright, very dark urine. And so neither of those are true. And like you said, altitude, in the cold, your body will play tricks on you and make you think you don't need something when you really do.
Yeah.
And then, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah. So Jeffrey came in and said, the lemongrass ginger is so good. Also used the body wash for the first time last night. So nice. And those little lathery bubbles. I like that. It's nice in this cold, dry weather. It seems conditioning. Yes.
Yeah, it is. Dude, you know what's funny is Jill uses our body wash for bubble bath.
Oh, yeah.
Be prepared for the
Lots
amount of bubbles that your tub produces because like she had it the other day where like she was in there. I couldn't even see her. Like, I'm like, where are you? Are you in here?
Oh my gosh.
Like, there's just like a mountain of bubbles in the tub and like this little tiny blonde head comes popping out of the middle of it. And like, I'm here.
It's like a dream for her.
yeah.
Bubbles.
She's like a bubble mermaid floating around in the tub. It was hilarious.
Love it. And Adrian says, no matter what I do, my beard is still rough. I use beard oil, beard moisturizer. I don't know where I go wrong. So, Adrian, to be super honest with you, the term beard moisturizer kind of throws me off and has me worried. Are you using something that is more like a lotion type consistency, which can work for some people? Oftentimes, those leave-in conditioners, moisturizers will lend themselves to like a black man's beard. But if that is a factor, maybe that's it. Maybe it's the products you're using. Obviously, it can be the amount of water that you're drinking. But the one thing that really stands out to me is that beard moisturizer right there. I have a feeling that could be the culprit of it feeling rough. If anything, the only thing that moisturizers and leave-ins and stuff do is they kind of mask the symptoms of whatever's going on. So let's say your skin is dry, your hair is dry. That will mask it and make it feel like it's not, but you still have the cause that's causing it. And so I'm just not a big fan of anything that's kind of in that arena. And to each their own, finding what works for them is so important. But that one does bring me a little pause when you say that's feeling rough. That could be a culprit.
You know, you're dead on. And it's something else that I learned over the years through figuring out what works for me.
Yeah.
Is that when you're switching between stuff too, to try to find what works, your face and your beard aren't going to tell you how something is working. They'll have an initial reaction, obviously, but you're not going to know how it actually works for like 4 or 5 days of doing the same thing.
Yep.
Like your face couldn't hate something for the first 3 days and then love it for all eternity after that. it could be the exact opposite. Something could work for a couple of days and then end up not working long term because of buildup or other stuff that ends up happening that you don't notice in those first few days of testing.
Yeah.
So if you do switch it up, make sure to give it a good solid chance before you give up on it too.
And the more you use something bad and the more worse it is, the more your body becomes dependent on it. For example, ask any woman in your life if they've ever used silicone hair products and what it was like trying to get away from using silicone. It is a battle that is really rough for women. They will use those and it'll kind of mask the symptoms. It'll make it look like they want. It'll make it kind of feel like they want, but it's just fake. And then when they try to get rid of it, they go through this like detox process where their hair is going to look horrible. It's going to feel horrible. I'm talking for weeks to really get rid of that silicone buildup and that silicone dependence. So keep in mind, the worse something is, the longer it can take your body to get away from it.
Right.
Unfortunately. And
I like the beard mask. Yeah.
Yeah. Fitzroy says he uses a beard mask from pandemic, keeps his face warm when it's cold. That's interesting.
That's not a terrible idea at all. And you imagine like the moisture from your breath too. I mean, it's got to keep like a little ecosystem going on, you know?
Yeah, especially if you're doing like the driveway or something and you're trying to stay warm out there while you're breathing. That definitely makes a lot of sense. And Jake agrees. He says more damp, less heat in the winter for him.
Yep.
Good awareness. Yeah, really, really good awareness. And the Real CEO says, I have invested in 2 expensive winter coats that don't mess up my 3-year plus beard. So he's got a legit beard. And it is a Woolrich Arctic parka. He says it has a convenient space that accommodates his beard. Okay. And then a Battenwear deck jacket. Interesting. I've never heard of either of those, but I am genuinely intrigued.
I like the idea of a convenient space that accommodates beards.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. And Jill says, Nick, don't you wear a gator, which would be similar kind of preface for protecting the face? When you go out and about, like a neck gator?
Yeah. Yeah, I use a neck gator like in the winter. I take a neck gator and I put my whole beard just in the gator with it. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Or I'll throw it in a bun real quick. Like I'll do one of these guys and take this and pop that through, and then I'll just put the gator kind of around that.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, nice. So that works too.
Toss some butter in the beard, tie it up.
Yeah, and tying it up too, or braiding it when you put a beard when you put a butter in it, that really, really, really helps. I mean, being able to put some butter in and then like throw it in a quick like fat braid, so that way it's just at least it's like holding on to itself and it's not small hairs that are getting all the air past it. Yeah. Again, oxidation and surface area. I think you have less surface area, so less oxidation.
There you go. John's picture checks out here. He says, as a plow guy, I deal with a lot of de-icing products. Do you think that they have any sort of impact on the beard? I always clean off my hands the best I can, but the chemicals tend to seep through gloves. Wow. I don't know anything about de-icing products, to be fair.
I don't, but I would imagine it's just like your skin. I mean, if it's not good for your skin, it's not good for your hair. And I would imagine de-icers are probably somewhat de-greaser, similar, right?
Yeah, I was thinking
it's got to be pretty caustic.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to have some kind of salt-like property to it, I would imagine, right? And drying in that way, removing moisture.
Dude, some of these Woolrich jackets are nice. I've never heard of these before, but like I'm seeing some here. Like, I mean, you can definitely get up to around $1,000 for one.
Ooh.
But I mean, like, whoa, you're looking like some nice stuff. Like I see one here that's got like the fur around like the full parka looking thing. And I kind of see what you mean by like a space for a beard. Yeah, like you got like the little triple breasted kind of an action going on there. Uh-oh.
All right, so John says sodium, magnesium, and then calcium chloride, and yes, they're pretty caustic.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, that's got to strip anything out that it touches, right? I mean, especially calcium chloride. I would imagine
the one that stood out to me. Sodium, magnesium, okay, that'll wash out. You're okay.
It's just salt,
Yeah, exactly.
But which is not great, but I mean, it's definitely going to, dry you out, but I would imagine calcium chloride being the stripper that it is. That's just going to pull whatever oils are in your beard out. It's just going to strip it off, especially if it doesn't need moisture in your beard and that stuff hits it. Then the butter and oil is just going to go with it.
Yeah. So John, something like a neck gator or 2 neck gators, something like that to have a physical barrier would be a good thing. And I would I don't usually recommend this for like working jobs, but a good layer of butter on the outside of your beard will give you just a little extra protection from that as well. That could be a nice move.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the first things that popped in my mind. The more you could do to be like a water barrier, you know, to kind of keep that stuff off of the hair, I would imagine would help.
Yeah. Chris B says, I've recently added an unbrush to my routine, followed by the Chicago comb. I'm not familiar with an unbrush.
I'm looking up all kinds of new stuff
Yeah,
today.
we're
I'm learning more than you guys are. This is fantastic.
I have. So, Chris,
Oh, okay.
I almost ordered one of these because they were viral on TikTok for a while. These are supposed to be, so they've got the opening so you can use heat through this thing. I'm actually really curious about these, and I might have to get one. I know this is the brand right here. FHI is like the really good one.
Okay.
And it's right here. Look at TikTok shop. Yeah, this went crazy on TikTok.
It did. Okay.
Less than $2 on Teemu. Okay, good to know. Good to know there.
Oh yeah, there you go. Thanks, Teemu. little do you know they are actually miniatures that are like actual size photos.
Hilarious.
There.
Oh my gosh. And hey, what's up, Corey? He says, I'm going to use some Dr. Nick's oil tonight. Peppermint bark is fantastic from Weatherbeard.
Oh, dude, right on. Coming from you, man, that's a huge compliment. So I'm glad you liking it, and two, I'm glad you're using it. I'm hoping it's working for you.
Cool. Donald said Balm has become his friend in the winter. Awesome.
That is a really good point, actually. So one of the things I've noticed with the Balm is that is the only product we make that has some wax in it. So if you do get it on your mustache and you get it warm, I used to get the problem where after my mustache would get wet from the snow, like if I'd be out and it got like frozen stick mustache, whenever I would come in, it would be super duper duper dry. And I would start getting flakes like right here in the corner of my mustache and lips and under my nose. If I put Balm on it, I found that didn't happen. And I think it's what we were just talking about. I think it's like the wax was creating a bit of a water barrier, and it wasn't letting the water freeze my actual hair. It was just like freezing on it.
Interesting. And Corey says the same thing. He said, I'm finding myself going to Balm during the day.
Yeah, I think you guys are on to something there. I think it locks in some moisture. I think if you put on some beard oil, maybe even a little butter, and then you get some of that Balm on your hands and you kind of bring it down the outside, it's not enough to like make it stiff, but I think it's enough to like help lock in some of that moisture with some of the wax.
Interesting. Nick, do you use anything for a stripping wash, or do you use soap or anything at all?
So you know what I do, and I don't know if this is a good thing to say out loud or not, but I'll be perfectly honest, is that since we don't have a stripping wash and all I use is our stuff, I'm just going to say it. If I find that I have a lot of butter in my beard for whatever reason, maybe I was dry, maybe I did a big braid and the butter hasn't worked its way out of my beard like it normally does.
Yeah.
So it's like locked in extra good. And I feel like I need to get it out. I throw a little face wash in with my beard wash, and it seems to do a pretty good job of pulling any extra oils that's in my beard out, more so than our normal wash would, because the face wash is a higher pH than the beard wash. So it is a little more stripping. It's got basically the same ingredients with a different pH, and it's a little less moisturizing. So I wouldn't say do it all the time, but until we come out with a stripping wash, if you're dead set on using just our stuff in the shower, throw a little face wash in with the beard wash. See if it works for you too, because it definitely works for me.
It makes sense.
I know it's not going to make my face mad.
Right? Makes sense. Jason uses a mask when it's really cold. Just cut the strap so it doesn't, on the side. Yeah. I also use, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the folded neck gaiters. I swear, that's the way, man.
Yeah, no doubt. And okay, so Adrian says the moisturizer looks like a beard oil, but a more runny texture. It's one of the main purposes is to make the beard soft and keep it moisturized. Adrian, if you want to reach out to me and send me some of your products, I have there's a lot of warning. All I can say is there's a lot of red flags going off for me, for someone that's done this for a very long time. And I've seen like the language of usually products that aren't as quality. This very well could be
something that has silicone in it.
There's something.
Just like the way that just based on the little bit of description, for some reason, my like sensors in my head start going towards like, that's got to be some kind of artificial moisturizer.
Yeah.
If they're calling it a moisturizer, like why wouldn't they just call it a moisturizing oil?
Right. For sure.
You know?
And Jason, not everybody has their own views on Teemu, not to back them up or anything, but Sam has an addiction to Teemu. No, man, they are less than like a week, at most like a week and a half now. Their shipping has gotten they have distribution in the United States now. So it's not coming from China. And so they have distribution here and they have returns. It's freakishly similar to Amazon now. But I had heard that from back in the day, but Sam is straight up obsessed with Teemu. It's becoming a problem, but she loves it.
So funny.
It's so funny. She'll I did actually talk to her the other day. She's like, oh my gosh, I got all this stuff for so cheap. And I'm like, but the bill was $250. Like if we didn't need it, that's still $250. Come on. So yeah,
that's how they get you. It's like because you buy a bunch of cheap stuff instead of buying, a couple expensive things, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kevin said, is it Everyman Jack? Yeah. Let me know if you're talking Everyman Jack, but they labeled theirs as a butter. So I don't think it's that one, but that product is not good. Their butter is that sour cream, water-based consistency, in my opinion, not something I recommend. So
sour cream consistency. Wow. How to make anyone want to not use a butter in 3 easy words.
Yeah. It's
sour cream consistency.
Yep. Not good. Not good at all. And beeswax will lock it in for sure. Yep. And what are your thoughts on a body wash?
He said if someone's never used a balm stick, how would I use it?
Yeah, I was looking for that one, but I lost it.
You just had it up. If someone has not used the balm stick, how would you use it? So the balm stick 2 ways. You can apply it straight to your mustache and your sideburns, or depending on the length of the beard, you can literally like paint it on a little bit on the outside of your beard and then use your hands to like bring it through and warm it up. Right. That's what I do a lot for those areas. And if I do want it for a little bit of styling hold to keep flyaways away, I'll actually take it and just put a little bit on my hand like this and swirl it around until you get a good layer, then warm it up and then apply like normal balm. But the stick's just, it's a way that you can use it as an applicator or just a non-fingernail destroying dispenser.
There you go. And Donald said, I find the balm helps protect the hairs from the cold winds and locks in moisture a little bit longer for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of sense.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense.
Any thoughts to the body wash for the beard?
So, interestingly enough, is the face wash and the body wash are super duper similar, with the difference being, again, that the body wash has more residual oils and moisture in it. So if it were me looking for a stripper, I would probably use the face wash over the body wash, just because the body wash is what they call super fatted a little bit, which means that there's a little bit of residual oil that stays behind on your skin.
Yep.
Which is what you want in a body wash. You don't want to be squeaky dry all over your whole body.
Right. We all know that feeling.
Yeah. We don't want that. We don't want that Irish Spring feeling,
Yeah. And Kevin says, Everyman Jack is bad. He started with it. Doesn't work. So for me, Everyman Jack's kind of a loaded bag. As D-Dot says here, their body wash is great. They do have some solid products that are available in stores. They really do. I actually really enjoy their body wash. And their beard oil is a decent option for somebody starting. Like if you were to tell me, hey, somebody can go grab a bottle of Old Spice that has silicone as the first 3 ingredients, or they can grab a bottle of Everyman Jack, I'm going to all day, every day say Everyman Jack. And do I think it compares to Dr. Nick's? Literally no. If you asked me tonight when I'm not around Nick, if you asked me in the morning when I'm just waking up, crusty is out of my eye, I'd be like, hey, is it no, obviously it's not. Like anybody can tell you that. But there is I think a place for it. I would love to see stuff improved. I would really love for them to either change the name of their butter to not say butter anymore, or to make it better. But that's just my thoughts and opinions. So definitely kind of a mixed bag there. And the sour cream consistency ones, when they call it a butter, just kind of makes me sick. Like
that's no good. That's no. You don't want that. Like if someone was like, hey, I have a buddy and he either needs to get beard oil in his beard right now today, or he's going to shave his beard off. What can he grab from Target or CVS that'll work for him? That would probably be in the top couple that you would recommend. But
for sure.
Where you have time and you're going to order something online, that's probably not where to go.
Right. Because like you have Honest Amish there, which is a great option, but a lot of people don't like the way it smells. And Everyman Jack actually has really good smelling products. So it's like, you got kind of 2 sides. If somebody is new or they are desperate, if they don't like the smell of it, it's not going to likely matter what it does, And so there's definitely a loaded bag. But yeah, he said the Balm, the butter. I 100%. I'm with you there. I'm not a fan on that one. But man, I know Dynamo. If you saw, I switched the scrolly at the bottom because I saw the time as well. He said, please don't tell me this hour is almost over. Again, absolutely crazy. And Leo, you're right. It's called Goodfellows. It's a really thick oil, very thick oil, but it's a good, solid option from Target.
Yeah.
Yep,
and you know, it has a shelf life that lives up to Target standards of long ass time.
Yeah, for real. And they check. Yeah. Walmart, they're like, we don't care. If it's expired now, pay us, we're cool. Like, they don't care. Target is ruthless.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great. They have a high standard. You guys can know that. And so that is good. And even their bad beard products, like something, I'm not even going to say a name, but a product that I don't recommend, that's going to last forever. Their shelf life's good because it's just silicone and chemicals. But hey,
right.
That's another.
You know, if you had like a fallout shelter, right?
Yeah.
And you got like your food that's going to stay good for like the next 20 years.
Yep.
You know, maybe you want a beard product that has a 20-year shelf life in there. I don't know. Maybe you do.
It'll work. All right. Final question before we say goodbye. What would you say is the shelf life on Dr. Nick's products?
So ideally, you want to use our products with inside of 6 months. A lot of them have a perfectly good shelf life for well over a year. You know, and that's from a chemical and degradation and benefit standpoint, well over 12 months. We like to see people use them inside of 6 months, ideally inside of 12 months, definitely. But I would say some of them go well beyond 12 months.
Definitely. Yep. Definitely. The water-based ones being a little bit shorter than the oil and the butter and the balms. And I lied. One more. I got to highlight this one. Ken said silicone and chemicals. We going to Vegas?
Ken, you know, if the shirt and the beard and the smile didn't say that, hey, I'm your kind of people, you know, it's comments like that that just lets us know that we're cut from the same exact kind of cloth here.
Unbelievable. All right. And then final question for real this time. And Jill says, cooking up some as we speak. He just want to know ETA on restocking Balm.
I think Balms are going to be restocked and on the website also by later this week. So
awesome.
Jill's making them today, tomorrow, and the day after that. We'll probably be labeling and letting those final setups and cures happen, I would imagine, by Thursday, Friday. So I'd be really surprised that if Balms weren't back in stock by Friday. No, other things just to expect back in stock. Number 7 beard wash and conditioner. If they're not out of stock now, they will be very soon. Those will also be back by the end of the week. If butter goes out of stock today, don't worry. That'll be back by the end of the week. And Jill is working on Balms right now, which will also be back by the end of the week. So butter, Balm, and lime zest, citrus fruit, and pine, formerly known as number 7, wash and conditioner, will be back this week as well.
Love it. Guys and girls, the title that you can see shortly for next week's show is New Merch and Stuff. And so stay tuned for the reveal of some brand new merch and some stuff that will be on the future horizon. We hope that you guys come and hang out. Of course, we'll have tangents and other random conversations next week as well. No, Jill, come get this, man. Jill, come get this, man. He's trying to tease over there. I feel Jill's pain when she's like, do not show them. Nick's like, I can't help it. It's so good. D-Dot, thank you, man. We appreciate it. That was such a fun stream. Thank you guys. If you didn't, just check on your way out to see if you hit that thumbs up to leave a little bit of love on this stream. Nick, final words to send the people off with their beautiful Tuesday.
Oh man, well, just, you know, go eat. It's Tuesday. Go eat some tacos first of all. Go get some tacos happening. That's what's happening at the Phelps house tonight. Is some braised green chili chicken tacos. Suggest you do the same. But stay warm, stay safe, stop slipping on ice, and be amazing. And come in next week, Tuesday, 1 o'clock, to check out some awesome new stuff. I can't show you. I can't.